Hi, it's Anik here. So before we get started on our session today, and I officially introduce myself, I just want to take a moment to just thank you for being here with me today. I understand that your time is valuable, and so I do not take it lightly that you decided to share a little bit of it with me. So, having said all that, I have jam packed this session with a lot of amazing golden nuggets, okay, that are going to be life changing. I promise you that. You are going to want to stick to the end of this with me because I promise you that you are going to hear something today that is going to radically change your life. Okay, so I need you to get into a quiet space where you are free of distractions. And I need you to get a piece of paper and a pen so you can take some notes because there are going to be some incredible revelations that come out of this session today that you're going to want to write down. All right. There is a reason that you are here today. There's a reason that you're sitting right here listening to me today. And it is because you've been going through some things in your life that you need some answers to. You've been experiencing some things that you don't have explanations for. And there is something about your anxiety and depression symptoms that just don't add up. There's some answers that you need, and you're going to get those answers today. There are some things that you've been praying for that you just need to understand, and you're going to get some understanding today. And I don't want you to forget a single bit of what you get out of this session. So please get a pen and paper, get in a quiet space, and get ready to take some notes because today is going to be amazing. And stick in there with me to the end, okay? Again, I jam packed this and I'm going to go through pretty fast. So pay attention. All right. All right, let's go. Let's go ahead and get started. All right. So you know why you're here today. You are here because we are uncovering the spiritual side of anxiety and depression. And we are going to explore a very possible reason as to why the treatment isn't working. But before I can jump into the meat of things, I just got to let you know that I am not a mental health or medical professional. So do not stop or adjust your treatment plan without first consulting with a qualified mental health and or medical professional. Nothing that you hear today should be taken as medical advice. All right, now that we got that out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. Let me formally introduce myself to you. My name is Anik Barber. I am also affectionately referred to as Unique Anik. And I believe that will become a little bit more apparent as we go through this session. I am a little bit eccentric and a whole lot corny, so I just apologize for that in advance. Bear with me, guys. Hopefully the awesome gold that I throw at you is so much more valuable, and you can get past the corniness. But anyway, again, my name is Anik Barber. I am a business owner. I'm a prophetic intercessor. I am a speaker and a coach. That is who is presenting to you today. But that is not who I have always been. This smiling, bubbly personality that you see before you today used to be trapped inside of this girl. All right. So I was not always smiling and happy and joyful like this. This used to be me. I was just trapped inside of myself, just feeling hopeless and lonely and sad and more sad. um, and it was bad. It was pretty bad. So let me just give you a little bit of background, okay? Over a 16-year period, I have been diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, panic attack disorder, and PTSD. And this was a real thing, okay? A real thing. And I want to show you. I don't want to just tell you. I want to show you. See this here, my friends? This was my actual medicine bag of stuff. This bag is full of medicines for depression, for anxiety, for insomnia, for nightmares. At one point, I was taking 5 different medications a day, and I have been taking them for so long that I developed liver failure. And then not too long after that, heart failure. So there's medication in that bag for those things. And through all of that, I still was not fixed. If anything, the best result that I had with that was that it numbed everything and I was just a zombie walking around. So that was my real life. And I tried everything. I spent hundreds of hours on Google and YouTube trying to research, trying to find some relief. I meditated, I exercised, I changed my whole diet for a certain period of time. I was vegan and then vegetarian and pescatarian and all types of tarians, just trying to get some relief. But it was not until I stopped and decided to go on a journey of self-discovery that I discovered the real reason, the real cause of what I was feeling. And that's what I want to share with you today. My story is not going to be everybody's story. Okay. But there are some people out there. Matter of fact, there are a lot of people out there that are like me that can relate to this story, can relate to what I'm going to tell you today. And so I'm just so super excited because when I learned this news, when I learned who I truly was and learned the root cause to why I was feeling the way that I was feeling, it changed my life forever. 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 And so I want to share that with you today. Okay. So, yes, this was me and it was bad. But here we go. Come on, slide. This is me now. There's me in the middle. And then to the right is my beautiful daughter, my beautiful teenage daughter. And her name is Saray, but we call her Sunray because she lights up my life and everywhere she goes. And that little guy right there, that's my little man Xavier, which I call X-Man because he's my little superhero. All right, so that's me, and that's enough about me. Let's jump right in. So again, be in a quiet space. Get in a quiet space. If you're not there already, go into your room, shut the door, get out a pen and paper, and take some notes because we're going to go through this fast and it's going to be amazing, okay? All right, let's get to it. All right, here are the objectives for the day. This is why you're here. By the end of this session, I will help you determine whether or not your depression and anxiety are connected to something spiritual. I'm going to identify barriers that are impeding the healing process. I'm going to dispel a few limiting beliefs. And last but not least, I'm going to impart some hope to you today. Today, you are going to get some answers that bring hope to you that you haven't felt in a very long time. So let's jump in it. Before I can get to the root causes of the possible root causes of your anxiety and depression, we just got to go over what anxiety and depression is. So bear with me really quickly while I read this off to you. This is from Mayo Clinic, which defines generalized anxiety disorder, which can occur at any age. The condition has symptoms similar to panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and other types of anxiety. These symptoms include constant worry, restlessness, and trouble with concentration. Treatment may include counseling and medications such as antidepressants. So, you know, if you've been experiencing this in your life, here are some of the things that you've been experiencing: pain, specifically in the back, fatigue, lightheadedness or sweating, hypervigilance, irritability or restlessness, lack of concentration or unwanted thoughts, severe anxiety or fear, emotional distress, excessive worry, difficulty falling asleep, headaches, nausea, palpitations, repeatedly going over thoughts, or trembling. All right, now let's jump over to depression. You know this if you've been feeling it. Depression is the persistent feeling of sadness or loss of interest that characterizes, major depression. Can lead to a range of behavioral and physical symptoms. These may include changes in sleep, appetite, energy level, concentration, daily behavior, self-esteem. Depression can also be associated with thoughts of suicide. And you know, if you're experiencing this, then here are a few things that you are feeling: anxiety, apathy, general discontent, guilt, hopelessness, loss of interest or pleasure in activities, mood swings or sadness, agitation, excessive crying, irritability, restlessness, or social isolation, early awakening, excess sleepiness, insomnia or restless sleep, excessive hunger, fatigue or loss of appetite, lack of concentration, slowness in activity, or thoughts of suicide, weight gain or weight loss, poor appetite, or repeatedly going over thoughts. So, if you're experiencing this, then all of these things or most of these things seem all too familiar to you. Now, if you go to the doctor and you outline that you are experiencing these symptoms, they are going to likely diagnose you with depression or anxiety, particularly if you've been experiencing these symptoms for a long period of time. But what if there was another explanation for why you've been feeling those things for such a long period of time? So here is where the good part comes in, right? So I told you that I went on this incredible journey of self-discovery, and in that journey, I learned that there was an incredible type of human being that was walking on this earth called an intercessor. And intercessors experience a lot of those symptoms that I just mentioned to you, but it's not because they are depressed or anxious. So let's break that down, okay? I want to go through with you 10 signs that you may be an intercessor. So if you experience those symptoms that I just outlined, let me give you some reasons. If you are an intercessor, here's some reasons why you may have been feeling this way. All right, let's break it down. Number one, intercessors are highly sensitive, okay? And this sensitivity can show up in numerous ways. So the most obvious one, of course, is emotionally. That you're emotionally sensitive. You have maybe been told in your life that you were just overly sensitive, that you took things too personally. You are that person that if somebody else starts crying, you don't just feel sorry for them. Like, you're crying too. That is your hurt too, okay? That sensitivity can show up in other ways, though, other than emotions. It can show up through sensitivities in your environments, right? So you can be sensitive to things in the environment. So you may have lots of allergies. You can be sensitive to the atmosphere. So you are that person that can walk into a room and you immediately know whether that's a positive or negative space for you to be, because you're sensitive to those things. Also, these sensitivities can show up in foods. Like, you may have a lot of food allergies, or maybe not necessarily allergic, but you're sensitive to a lot of different foods. It can show up in fabrics and in your skin, right? So you may be a person that you're dealing with eczema or psoriasis or just sensitive skin. You can't use a lot of soaps that everyone else can use. Maybe different perfumes irritate you, colognes or whatever irritate you, but that your skin is pretty sensitive. This sensitivity can also show up, in any of your senses. So it could be your smell, your touch, your taste, your hearing. Certain sounds can just make you want to crawl out of your skin. And if you're noticing that you're a lot more sensitive in these areas than your average Joe, that's your first telltale sign that you just might be an intercessor. All right, so let's go to number two. Number two is discerning. All right, intercessors are very discerning, and discerning is all about picking up on energy. Okay, for lack of a better word, we're going to be picking up on energy. So you can be discerning of people, atmospheres, and objects. So people, you meet somebody for the very first time, haven't even had a conversation with them, and you know right away whether this person is good news or bad news. Like, Same with, I already touched on this before, same with places and atmospheres. You know immediately when you walk into a room if there's something going on. If that's a good happy space. You also know if that's somewhere that you just really don't want to be. If there's some tension in there, you pick up on those. You're able to discern those things. And also objects. There are times in your life, if you're an intercessor, where you've come across certain objects where you just look at it and you're like, there's something about this not right. Like, you can pick up negative energies on something, or maybe even positive energies on something. So that's how the discerning piece comes in. All right, the next one for you. Number 3 is intuitive. Intercessors are extremely intuitive. So discerning is being able to pick up on the energy of things. Okay. So you can pick up on the overall picture of whether something is positive or whether something is negative. Intuitive takes that and it goes a little bit deeper. So if you are intuitive, you you are having like almost kind of psychic experiences. Like there may have been some times where quite often your phone rings and without even looking at it, you just know who's calling you. Or you're watching something on TV and you just innately know how the story is going to end. Or there's a situation where with people, someone can present themselves a certain way, like maybe they're being mean or rude, and you are able to look past that and say, I don't just see that they're being mean and rude, but I see why they're being mean and rude. Like you just have this intuition about people. Maybe it goes even deeper and you kind of pick up on things, like you have feelings about things and then things happen later and you're like, oh shoot, I knew that. That's intuition. And if you're having a lot of those aha moments, then there is a good chance that you might just be an intercessor. All right, number 4. Number 4 is isolated. So intercessors by nature, let me show you my face. Intercessors by nature are isolated, and that's for one of two reasons. Either it's like happenstance or it's on purpose. So the isolation piece comes because you're different and you know you're different. You know you're different. And you might just be able to vibe with just about anybody around you, but you don't feel like you totally all the way fit in. So then isolation happens because maybe other people are realizing that you're different too. And so they're rejecting you or you're feeling dejected. So if that's a common theme in your life, there may be something to that. But also, it's not just something that happens by happenstance, right? Intercessors require a lot of alone time, more than your average person. So if you notice that you actually really enjoy being by yourself, maybe even more than you enjoy being around people, and it's not because you don't like people, you just like being by yourself, that is a sign of an intercessor. And one of the reasons that this happens is because you are so sensitive to everything around you. You're sensitive to people, to atmospheres, to places, to all these different things that you just need a place to retreat. A lot of intercessors, mainly, I would even argue to say all intercessors, if you are an intercessor, you will find that when you are in large groups of people or when you've been hanging out with somebody all day, even if you had a great time, when it's over, you need to retreat. You need some time to yourself. You need some time to like unload and process all of the information that you've taken in. Even if you're not doing this on a conscious level, think back. Take some time right now and think how you've been reacting to the environment and to people around you. And isolation is it's a big, like, it's a big thing for intercessors. We spend a lot of our time in the cave, whether this is by choice or by happenstance. All right, next thing is you're an information fiend. Because you are one of these people who you're taking, first of all, your body's taking in information from everywhere. You're sensitive to the environment, to people, to objects, to all these different things. You're discerning, you're intuitive, you're learning all of this stuff like on a subconscious level that your conscious wants to make sense of it. Your conscious wants to know, like, what is happening to me, what's going on. And so that is expressed in just this unquenchable thirst for knowledge. You want to know things. And this may come out in the form of school. Maybe you're one of these people who like school, like you are a professional student. Or maybe you're like me and you hated school, right? But you spend hours and hours on Google and YouTube because you just want to know. And you're not watching cat videos, although those are really interesting and you do like cat videos. But aside from that, you want to know. You want to know how to, you want to know why. You're reading self-help books. Like you just want to know things. And you've probably been called a nerd a few times in your life because people tell you you think you know everything. And they say you think you know everything. Why? Because you are intuitive and you actually do know a lot of the stuff that you're talking about. And you do know a lot of stuff because you spend a lot more time than your average person researching things. All right, let's go next. So, next, 6, you're authentic. Intercessors are extremely authentic. And so, with that, how is that expressed? I'm sure if you're an intercessor, you have been told multiple times throughout your life that you are stubborn. You have an opinion about things, you feel how you feel, and there's not a lot that people can say or do to change your mind or change your opinion about things. When your mind is set, your mind is set. You are who you are. You probably have had times in your life where you tried to fit into somewhere, but you learned very quickly that that was not for you, that that's not who you are, and that you don't even want to fit in. So, with that authenticity, the really cool thing about that is you actually encourage other people to be authentic. So you may have even heard that in your life. You have may have even heard people say that, like, hey, you encourage me to be myself. Like, there's something unique about you that makes me want to just like let my guard down and be myself. So that is let's see, authentic. Next thing is you're a dreamer. So that dreaming comes in a few different forms, right? So the dreamer is like daydreaming. You're a visionary. You have been told, I'm sure if you are an intercessor, you have been told plenty of times to get your head out of the clouds. You are one of those people who can be very physically present with somebody, but your brain is somewhere else because you escape inside of your brain. You're a dreamer. You're always thinking. You're having just these vivid images playing in your mind. Like, these are things that are happening to you. um, Another thing is you're a night dreamer. You may experience that you dream a lot at night, and you may even experience that a lot of times some of those dreams are coming true. Or sometimes you're waking up and you cannot remember a single shred of your dream, but you know that it was significant, and you're having lots of experiences like this. So if that's something that's happening to you a lot, it may be because you're an intercessor. And it's also you're out of the box thinker, right? You just think out of the box, and that's just a naturally occurring thing in your life. All right. So next thing is you are a good listener. So you're a good let me go back. Sorry guys. Okay. So you are a good listener. You are that person that your friends and your family come to you. They want to talk to you when things are going on in their life because they know that you're going to listen. But even more so than that, they know that you're going to offer some awesome, amazing advice. But here's where it gets weird, this listener thing, right? If you're an intercessor, you will notice that there are people, like complete strangers, that come up, or people you barely even know, that come up to you and start telling you their whole life story. This has happened to you on more than one occasion if you are an intercessor. There is something about you that draws people to you, and you're sitting there listening to people's stories, which is very intriguing, right? You like this, but it's like, why is this person telling me all of this? Like, what is going on? If you're an intercessor, this has happened to you again more than once. And there is a reason that this is happening to you, and that is because, my friend, you are a healer. Intercessors are healers. There is a natural healing quality that you carry, and this can show up in your life in a variety of ways. So it can happen very practically, like you're just interested in the medical field, you're interested in healing. Being a nurse or a doctor or a psychiatrist or a counselor. Maybe none of that. Maybe you are just really into natural things. Maybe you are into helping people. Whatever it is, there's a quality of healing that you bring. People have told you throughout your life at some point or another that, you're just really peaceful. There's something about you that feels safe. There's something about you that just makes me feel better. And that's because as an intercessor, that's a quality that you carry, and it's going to show up in your life. All right. And last but not least, one of the biggest signs that you are intercessor are you are transformative. You are transformative. That's why people come and talk to you. You bring a quality of healing, and you are also a thought provoker, right? You are the person that people come to for solutions. Even if you don't think that you're a solution maker, you are. You're the person that people come and talk to you, and you just so easily give a response, and they're like, it sounds so simple to you. It seemed really simple to you, but they're like, I never thought of that before. I never thought of that. You have even had people tell you in your life, oh, wow, since I met you, I started doing things differently, or I started thinking of things differently. And I never started doing this until I met you, because you're transformative by nature. So if these are some reoccurring themes in your life, then you might just be an intercessor. You might just be an intercessor. So let's dig into that a little bit. And first, let's just talk about what intercession is. And I'm sure most people have heard about this. And if you are a believer of God, then you have truly heard about this, where intercession is the action of saying a prayer on behalf of another, right? You heard about that. Simple. And we know, especially if you are a believer of God, you know that everybody is supposed to be interceding, right? Everybody should be praying for somebody else at one point or another in their lives. But what most people don't talk about, and what most people don't know, is that while everyone is called to intercession, not everyone is an intercessor. So what is an intercessor? An intercessor is a person that is born with a supernatural ability to collect and intercept intangible data through their bodies for the purpose of intervening on behalf of another on a deeper level. This is a gift that you have as an intercessor. If you are an intercessor, you are supernaturally collecting information that other people are not picking up on. That's why you're so sensitive. That's why things seem overwhelming, because everybody else is not picking up on this stuff. You're collecting information through your body. So even though you're not consciously doing it, your body is taking in information from everywhere. And the reason it's taking that in is because you're supposed to intercede for people, for places, for things on a deeper level than your average Joe. And if you carry this gift, if this is you, then let me tell you that this is a gift that is always on. You can never turn it off. The only thing that you can do is learn how to rule it. So let me stop right there and let's dig in a little deeper, right? If you are an intercessor, this is something that you have been dealing with for your whole life. It did not start because of a circumstance. It did not start because of a situation. And I'm going to take you back to your childhood, and I want you to think of some experiences that you had when you were a little one, and some things are going to click for you. So here are 3 childhood diagnoses that silence your voice. And I want you to forgive your parents. If you were diagnosed with any of these things, if you grew up with any of these things, it is not your parents' fault. Most people don't know. I didn't know. Most people don't know. And that's why I'm here today on this training, to tell you that you may be somebody different. Okay? All right, so let's get into it. So number 1, social anxiety is one of the childhood diagnoses. And I just want to read this to you. So, social anxiety is a chronic mental health condition in which social interactions cause irrational anxiety. For people with social anxiety disorder, everyday social interactions cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Symptoms may include excess fear of situations in which one may be judged, worry about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending someone. If that's something that you've been dealing with and something that you've been dealing with for your whole life, you might be an intercessor, my friends. And I'm sorry that you were misdiagnosed. All right, number 2. Sensory perception disorder, or being highly sensitive. This is another really big childhood diagnosis. And let me read this to you. So what that is, sensory processing disorder is a condition in which the brain has trouble receiving and responding to information that comes in through the senses. Some people with sensory processing disorder are oversensitive to things in their environments. Common sounds may be painful or overwhelming. Wow, those are one of the signs of the intercessor, right? So if you've been dealing with this for some time, it may be because you're an intercessor. All right, so last but not least, because this is a big one, and like everybody in the world has this according to medical professionals, ADHD and other learning disorders. All right, so let me read this to you. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD, is one of the most common mental disorders affecting children. ADHD also affects many adults. Symptoms of ADHD include inattention, not being able to keep focus, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. Impulsivity. There we go. I said that word. An estimated 8.4% of children and 2.5% of adults have ADHD. And it is often first identified in school-age children when it leads to disruption in the classroom or problems with schoolwork. And it can also affect adults. This is huge. Why we're being diagnosed with ADHD when really we're not hyperactive? It's because as an intercessor, you're experiencing all this stuff from everywhere. You don't know how to process this information. And so it just makes you a little crazy. It just makes you a little crazy. So, all right. So if you are checking off the boxes and having lots of aha moments, then stick with me because it gets better. Now, I said to you, intercessors are on this earth for a reason. We are collecting data from everywhere so that we can pray and intercede for people on a deeper level, okay? And so God has been talking to you for a while. If you're an intercessor, then God has been talking to you for a while. People say all the time, oh, well, God doesn't speak to me, or God doesn't speak to everybody. He speaks to everybody. And if you're an intercessor, he most definitely speaks to you. So let's crush some of those limiting beliefs right now. And let me show you some of the ways that God has been speaking to you for a very long time. Number 1, in your dreams. We talked about this earlier. If you are an intercessor, you're a dreamer. And this is not just happening when you are asleep. You're dreaming when you're awake. You're having visions. You're having like whole movies that play in your head in a split second. And you're feeling in your spirit that means something. You might not know what it means, but it means something. That is one of the ways that God has been talking to you. All right. Another way is through your environment. How many times have you just been outside walking or driving and you see a cloud and the shape of that cloud sparks a thought, and then next thing you know, you're just on this deep thought process and you're exploring the reason for life and whatnot off of a cloud, or you just saw something in your in a room that sparked a thought that got you to thinking about your identity, or thought you got you to thinking about like answers to questions that you've been asking for a long time. That's not just a coincidence. That's not just your brain going crazy. When it comes to things in your environment that spark thought process, that bring you to revelation, that's God. He's been talking to you, and he's also been talking to you through your knowing circuit. Now, I explained to you that intercessors are intuitive. There are things that you just know. I need you to see my face on this one. There are things that you just know. You know that you know. There's no logical reason why you know the things that you know, but you know. And when you try to tell people the things that you know, especially when it's out of timing and outside of wisdom, you often get the response that you think you know everything. You just think you know everything. And a lot of times you're right, and they know you're right, but they don't know how to explain how you know what you know. But how is this happening? Because God's been talking to you. You are not crazy. You have not been making things up in your head. God's been dropping little clues to life in your knowing circuit. I think that is so amazing. All right, so let's keep going, guys. So here are 3 pretty cool superpowers that you have always had. So let's go back to childhood. I want you to take a moment. Don't think about where you are now, but think about who you used to be as a kid, because you are being invited to resurrect some of these awesome superpowers that life has shut down. All right, let's get into it. All right, number 1, insight. You have always had insight. Even as a little kid, you were able to see past the surface of situations. You were able to see past people. And that was something that's notable in your life. Even now, as an adult, you can think back on some things that you just knew when you were a kid because you have insight, right? And that's an amazing superpower that you've always had. But life has shut that down because life didn't know how to respond to you. Life didn't know how to respond to this incredible insight that you've had at such an early age. So I guarantee you that people that weren't ready for your insight told you that you thought you know everything or that you needed to be quiet, and then that superpower had gotten shut down. But it is time to resurrect it today. All right. So the next thing is imagination. And I talked about this. You've always been a big dreamer. You've always had a vivid imagination. And it's not just for the purposes of escaping your humdrum, boring, depressing, sad, anxiety-filled life. Your imagination is a superpower. It's one of the ways that God has been communicating with you even since you were a little kid. You've been seeing glimpses of your purpose, of your destiny since you were a child. And it's been all chopped up to imagination because people were not in a space to dream as big as you have been able to dream, or because life has shut their imagination down. So just by as a result, they've done the same thing to you. But today is an opportunity for you to resurrect that imagination. All right. And the third superpower that you had as a kid was faith. You were that kid that you just knew, you believed without a shadow of a doubt that things were going to turn out right. You believed, and you even saw some manifestations of your faith throughout your life until life and angry people that didn't have faith shut your voice down. All right, let's keep going. All right. So here is a big one, guys. If by now you've discovered, like, this is crazy. I've never heard this before. Like, I'm an intercessor. What in the heck is happening? Well, let me tell you, some other reasons why you've been depressed and anxious is because vampires are following you. Vampires are following you, and these are people that suck the energy out of you. Again, I explained to you that intercessors are collecting lots of data, right? We have qualities of healing, and people know that. Even if they don't consciously know that, their spirit knows that you are a place of healing, and so they come after you and suck you dry. So if you have found yourself in a position where there are a lot of codependent people in your life, where there are a lot of people that maybe you've become an enabler because you're just trying to help them and get them together. Maybe if you have a lot of narcissistic people in your life, it's because you're an intercessor. These are very wounded people, and they need healing, and they know that you carry a quality of healing. So they come and they take and take and take and take. And if you don't know who you are, then it's so easy. It's so easy to become depressed. It's so easy to become anxious around these people. All right, so let's keep on going. So with all that said, there are three major reasons why the struggle in your life has been so fierce. So with all of this, obviously, this is giving you some aha moments, right, in your life. Like, oh my gosh, these are the reasons why you've been experiencing something. But even with that, there's still the question like, okay, Annie, I hear all that you're saying. So maybe I'm experiencing things at a heightened level because all the stuff that I'm experiencing isn't actually mine, and I'm picking up on other people's stuff. Yeah, that's great. But still, even with all of that, like, I'm depressed because my life sucks. Like, I look around at other people's life and other, things that people have been through. And like, my story is a cinema box office hit. Like, people don't even believe the things that are happening in my life anymore because it's crazy. Well, let me tell you, that is another one of the telltale signs of an intercessor, is that you have some serious real life warfare going on. And here are a few reasons why the struggle in your life has been so fierce. So number one, the struggle you're carrying isn't yours. As I explained to you, as an intercessor, you are not just dealing with your own emotions. Your body is intercepting and collecting the data of other people's emotions. So some of the struggle that you've been through is because it seems so fierce because it's yours and 20 other people. That's a lot. Okay. Number two, you're called to be a teacher by example. You're going through such an array of different things because every single time you conquer another obstacle, you bring breakthrough to somebody else. Somebody else. All right. Number three, the reason that your struggle is so serious and so fierce is because you are an intercessor that's been placed in a box. You've been told to shut down your imagination, to get your head out of the clouds. You've been told that you're too deep, that people don't understand what you're saying. You've been told that you don't fit in. You've been told that you're a know-it-all, that you're stubborn. And you're taking all that information and you're trying to fit all of your awesome amazingness in this box that other people in society want you to be in. And it's driving you insane. It's amplifying the struggle that you're going through. All right. I hope some things are like sparking off in your head right now. Like, whoa, what is happening? What is happening? Let me tell you, if you've been experiencing these things, if you've been listening today and like thoughts are going off in your head and you're having revelations and you're starting to understand yourself in a new way, then let me tell you that I have the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. If you have discovered today through this call that your depression and anxiety goes a little bit deeper than you thought it did, if you have discovered during this call that you might just be one of these people called an intercessor, then here is the breakthrough that you've been waiting for. All right, welcome to the K.I.D. All right. So the K.I.D is called the Kingdom Intercessory Department. And my goal in building this company, the reason this organization is here is to help people just like me and you. There are way too many intercessors that have been falling through the cracks. There are way too many intercessors that have been misdiagnosed and put on medication, and voices have been silenced when there is nothing wrong with you. Nothing. And so that is what the K.I.D is all about. It is dedicated to identifying, developing, and equipping intercessors with the tools that they need to learn who they truly are and walk in power and authority, and to like crush depression, to crush anxiety, and walk in life feeling fulfilled and happy. Like that can happen. Look at me. This is my real life story, guys. So with that, I want to introduce to you this 6-week intercessor boot camp. Okay. Like this is going to be really awesome, amazing. This is a 6-week in-depth intensive training to let you know who you are as an intercessor, what it means to be an intercessor, and then go through with you how you do life and do it awesome. All right. So before I even get into what it is, I just want to share some testimonies with you of some friends of mine that have gone through this course and what it will do for you. So here is my girl, Sarah Gaskin. She says, Anik has such a heart for God. You're truly missing out if you haven't joined yet. She inspires me to keep going, and sometimes that's all a person needs. I am blessed just to know her. My girl April says, the Kingdom Intercessor course has been absolutely life-changing. I received prayer strategies and revelation that stirred up gifts I didn't know I had. I learned to look for and hear God in places and ways that I never expected. I can't thank Anik enough for selflessly imparting into us all. She is a prayer powerhouse. And then Jamie says, your training was like finding my long lost family. I finally understand why I feel the way I do, what to do with that, and most importantly, that I'm not broken or weird. I'm powerful. Thanks for everything and the environment that you created in love from the presence and authority. Also, let's go down to Ingrid. She says, I would like to share what an impact Anik has been in her session. Listening to her intercession sessions has really awakened my gift even more. Learning from Anik has taken me to a higher level in my walk as an intercessor. Her teachings are helpful and practical. Join her in this journey. It will empower you into a higher level. I highly recommend it. All right, so this you've heard from some people who have taken my course, and just let me tell you, if you sign up for this course, which you need to, if you have discovered that you are an intercessor today, then you need this. And these are the things that we'll be going over. So week 1, we will dig into identity. Who are you? So today we just touched the surface of what an intercessor is, but we will dig deeper into this. Week 2, we will talk about your superpower, access, and management. So we will talk about the things that you carry. And we tapped into this just a little bit today. But as an intercessor, you have amazing superpowers. This gift that has been ruling you for so long, I'm going to teach you that it's not a curse. It is a gift that you are highly sensitive. And there are some amazing things that you can do with this gift. So we're going to dig into that in week 2. Week 3, we're going to talk about why you're here. What is the point of intercessors? Why did God make people that are extra super sensitive like that? Why are you here? We talked about that a little bit because you're supposed to intercede on behalf of other people, but what exactly does that mean, and why? Why are we doing it? Okay, we're going to dig into that in week 3. Week 4, we're going to talk about spiritual hierarchy. Who do you work for? Okay, who made you like this? Why are you here? You know, God made you like that. But we're going to explain why are you here and what's going on. What's the protocol as an intercessor? Week 5, we're going to talk about earthly order in the human experience. So now that you know who you are, you know what you carry, you know why you're here, you know who you work for, we're going to actually talk about how to get the work done. We are going to dig deep into this in week 5 and week 6. We're also going to continue digging into how to get the work done. And we're just going to talk about spiritual order in the heavenly experience. So what are the things that you've been experiencing that, you can't explain as an intercessor? We're going to dig into all of that in week 6. So, what's the breakthrough? If you take this course, I guarantee you, this is a guarantee that I am giving you. I guarantee that by the end of this course, you will receive breakthrough in the following areas of identity, awareness, understanding, alignment, healing, empowerment, direction, and strategy. Okay, these are some big things, right? So who is this course for, right? This course is for people who want to grow. If you just discovered today that you are an intercessor and you want to know what that means and you want to grow as a person, then this is for you. This is for people who are willing to commit and participate into the end. Listen, if you've been going through anxiety and depression, if you've been experiencing these things and experiencing them for a while, then you owe it to yourself to commit to the end. So this is for people who are going to commit to the whole 6 weeks. This is also for people who are open to learning new things. As you can probably see from this training, if you're still here with me, if you're still listening, then you learned some new things today. And this training, this 6 weeks training is going to be jam-packed with a whole bunch more new things. So this course is for people who want to learn some new things. Also, this is for people who want to learn how to rule their gift and stop letting their gift rule them. If you are suffering from depression and anxiety, it is because you have a gift that's ruling you. So if you want to learn how to rule that gift, if you're going to be serious about learning how to rule it, if you're going to participate to the end, and if you want to grow, then this is for you. So with all that said, who is this not for? This is not for anybody looking for a quick fix, right? So this is not for anybody who wants to blame everyone else for their problems. This is not for people who are not willing to hear hard truths and do self-work. I'm going to give you a lot of information in the 6 weeks, but it's up to you to take that information and implement it into your life. Okay? And if you're not willing to do that, this is not going to be for you. This is not for people who are not open to learning new things. So if you think I am an absolute crazy person after what you've heard today, then you can hop off right now, because this is not going to be for you. And then also, this is not for people who are not interested in exploring and strengthening their spirit. So, if you're interested in just strengthening your mental health, if you're just interested in, strengthening your physical health, and you have no interest in paying attention to the spiritual part of you, then this is not going to be for you. All right. But if it is for you, then keep tracking with me and let me tell you what's included. Here's what you really want to know. What is the price of this course and what is going to be happening? So the price of this course is $497. All right. And included in that is 6 weeks of intensive training. I will be going live 2 days a week, every week for 6 weeks. You will also get bonus trainings from my K.I.D leaders. So you won't just see my face, but you will see awesome other powerful intercessors that will give you some new perspective about what it means to be an intercessor. There's also going to be a boot camp workbook. Okay. So this is not just a lot of information to fill your mind up with. We are actually going to go through a workbook and implement some practical steps to how you get healed, how you reprogram your mind now knowing that you are an intercessor. Also, there's going to be weekly homework assignments. This also is a safe and encouraging community. So this is the first and probably only place in your life that you can actually safely talk about the experiences that you've been going through, and other people will actually understand you. That right there in itself is invaluable. All right. And then last but not least, there are some really cool surprise bonuses that are included. So this is a lot of stuff, guys, and this is a value of over $2,200 that you will get for $497. You cannot beat this. For $497, that's it. You can change your life. You will spend tens of thousands of dollars, or your insurance company will, trying to talk to counselors and other people who are not going to understand you. Or you can invest in yourself today for $497, and you can finally have answers to questions that you have been asking for your entire life. All right. So 3 reasons why you cannot afford not to do this. If you think that $497 is too much for you, let me tell you that it will cost you more if you don't, because there are not programs out here that are going to explain what you are going through. You are not dealing with regular depression or anxiety, so you are not going to be able to go to your doctor. You are not even in most cases going to even be able to go to your pastor to get some answers about this. You need to get into this course. Okay, so number 1 reason is, if you're still here with me, then it's because this course spoke to you and you know it. Let me bring my face back here. This course spoke to you and you know it. And if you discovered here today that you're an intercessor, you can't unknow that. You can't go back. You can't. All you can do now is move forward, and you have to, and you know you want to, because you know that there's something screaming in you that what you learned here today is real. All right. Number 2 reason why you can't afford not to do this is because you've already tried everything else. That's why you're here today. You've already researched every single article there is to research about why you're depressed and why you're feeling this way. You have tried to change your eating habits. You have tried to work out. You've tried therapists. You've tried medication. You've tried talking to your pastor. You've tried praying until you're blue in the face, and it hasn't worked. You've probably learned more in the last few minutes today than you've learned in the last few years. And you really don't have any more time to waste. You do not have any more time to be feeling like you want to jump out of your skin. You do not have any more time to want to end your life. All right? And you know that. Number 3, you are done just trying to survive. There is something on the inside of you that knows that this is your time, that knows that this time in your life is different than any other time. You have told yourself before that you were going to beat this anxiety, that you were going to beat this depression. And then not too long after you said that, you found yourself right back in that black dark hole. But you know, there's something in you that knows that today, that there's something different in this particular time in your life. So you know it's time. You know that you are destined for more, and you know that it's time to stand up and take hold of your future now. So if this is you, then you need to enroll today. You need to enroll today, because hope is available. You do not have to stay in this place that you've been in. You don't. Go to bit.ly/intercessor bootcamp and grab the hope that is available to you today. All right? Listen, here is one of my famous sayings. I tell this to my daughter all the time. When you can't change your situation, then change your perspective. Then watch everything change. This is your opportunity to watch everything change. This is your opportunity to finally learn who you are. This is the opportunity to break this cycle, not only for yourself, but for all the people who love you, all the people who are watching you. If you have children, this is your opportunity to break this cycle for your children. Don't let them go through what you've been going through, when right now there is opportunity for hope. This is the day. This is the day that your life can change. All right. So that is the end of this session. I know that if you're still here watching me, that it was amazing. I know that you learned some things about yourself today. I know that something on the inside of you changed today. And so I just want to take some time to pray for you. If you don't know who God is, if you don't know who Jesus is, then you definitely want to get in this course and learn him, because that's the way. That is the way to experience amazing joy, amazing peace, is through your identity. Understanding who you are and who created you is how you unlock the peace that you've been looking for. So if you don't know God, this is your opportunity to meet God in this class. But even if you do not go through that, I just want to pray for you today. I just want to take some time and just thank God for you today. So God, I just thank you for each and every person that watched this session. I thank you for each and every person that stuck to the end and is here with me right now. And I ask that you just give each one of these people an incredible encounter with you, and that you continue to water the seeds that have been planted today. I know, God, that it is your heart and your desire to see all of your children in a place of peace and abundant joy. So I thank you. I thank you that today marks a beautiful moment that will catapult them into a prosperous future. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. All right. Thanks for joining me. And I cannot wait to see your face in class. Register today because seats are limited. Seats are limited. Don't wait. Get in now.